Hi, I'm Abby from RTINGS.com. Today we'll be reviewing the 85-inch Sony X95L. Many of you have been asking about it on our forums, and we appreciate all the feedback. Our main goal is to help people find the right product for their needs, and even if this TV isn't what most people are searching for, it's because of people like you that we even bought and tested it. This is a high-end 4K mini LED TV that sits above the X93L and replaces the X95K from 2022. In North America, it's actually only available in an 85-inch size, but you can get 65 and 75-inch models in other regions, like Europe. However, those smaller sizes perform a bit differently, especially with the contrast, but besides that, they should perform pretty similarly. Before we get into the picture quality and performance, let's first look at its design. It's very well made and has a premium look, despite being mostly plastic. There's metal around the screen, along the border, and the feet are also sturdy metal. You can place the feet in 3 positions: narrow, wide, and high. This is useful if you have a smaller table or want to put a soundbar in the front. The TV wobbles easily on the stand, but that's expected for something so big. But unless you're going up to it and shaking it on purpose, you won't have any issues. Now, moving to the back. It has a checkerboard pattern like other Sony TVs. It also has covers you can place over the inputs to hide your cables. But the inputs would be difficult to reach if you leave the panels on when you have the TV wall-mounted. Speaking of the inputs, they're all on the back left side of the TV, and it has quite the selection. Its tuner supports ATSC 3.0, so you can watch over-the-air channels in 4K. There are 4 HDMI ports, but only 2 of them support HDMI 2.1 bandwidth to connect devices like gaming consoles or high-end PCs. Sadly, one of those HDMI 2.1 slots is also the eARC port. So, if you want to connect a soundbar or receiver for audio pass-through, you'll lose one of the HDMI 2.1 inputs unless the audio source supports HDMI 2.1 pass-through. About audio pass-through. It supports any Dolby or DTS format, so you can watch your favorite movies and shows with the audio that they're optimized for. Before moving on to the performance, let's quickly look at what you can see when you first power on the TV. It uses Google TV as its smart platform, which is easy to use and has a ton of apps available to download. It supports Google Chromecast, so you can easily cast anything from your phone. It comes with the same remote that other recent Sony TVs have, and while it doesn't have a numpad like those old school remotes, it still has quick access buttons to popular streaming services. There's a mic both in the remote and in the TV you can use with Google Assistant, so you can ask it to open apps and change settings, for example. If you're worried about privacy, there's also a switch to turn off the mic in the TV. Okay, now that we've talked about the basic stuff, let's move on to what this TV is great at: picture quality. It has a VA panel with an extremely high contrast ratio with its local dimming feature on, which is actually one of the best we've seen on any LED TV. This means it displays deep blacks, making it a fantastic choice for use in dark rooms. It also has an excellent mini LED local dimming feature with almost no blooming around bright objects. This means scenes like star fields or anything with subtitles look excellent. While it isn't perfect like an OLED, you'll still be very happy. The 85-inch size has 864 dimming zones, and the algorithm keeps up well with fast-moving objects. However, it's not always perfect, as there's some haloing around fast and bright objects. But this is only noticeable in certain content, like games with dark scenes. The TV also displays bright highlights against those deep blacks because it has a high contrast ratio. The HDR peak brightness is amazing, so those highlights pop, making content look vivid. It also follows the PQ EOTF curve very well, meaning it shows content at the brightness it was meant to be shown, and it doesn't overbrighten anything. Even in SDR, the peak brightness stays incredibly high, so it fights glare easily. Combined with its fantastic reflection handling, you won't have many issues with it, even in the brightest rooms. The screen has a glossy coating, so there's some rainbow smear when bright lights are on it. While we're on the topic of screen coating, this TV comes with Sony's X-Wide angle layer. This is something that they use to improve the viewing angles on TVs with VA panels like this one, so the viewing angle is okay. It's fine if you want to place the TV in a wide seating area, but if you're watching from a wide angle, you'll notice the image looks darker. No matter where you view the TV from, when watching content, you'll want images to look lifelike and realistic. And one good way of getting this is with good color accuracy. That's the case with this TV, as it displays most colors very well, and there aren't any obvious issues. While you don't need to calibrate it, if you want the best color accuracy possible, it's very easy to calibrate. The TV also displays a wide range of colors in SDR and HDR, so it can display many different colors that your content needs. But it can't display every color out there. It even has an excellent color volume in HDR, meaning colors look bright and vivid. If you're buying this TV, it's most likely that you're going to use it for watching Ultra HD Blu-rays or other high-quality content to take full advantage of it. However, if you get a bit nostalgic every so often and pull out your old gaming consoles or DVDs, then it's important to have good processing so that that content looks good. This TV uses Cognitive Processor XR, and like most Sony TVs, it excels with processing. Even lower resolution content, like those from DVDs or older gaming consoles, looks extremely sharp. It's also excellent at smoothing out content from sources that use compression, like streaming services, and you don't lose many details. That said, it works with Sony's Bravia Core streaming service, which streams content at a higher bitrate than other apps, like Netflix or Disney+, so you won't have to worry about processing if you use it. If you do watch high-quality content in HDR, its gradient handling is good, so there isn't any banding in most scenes with shades of similar colors, like a sunset. But some greens and blues have banding. If you watch 24p movies, you'll also be happy to know it removes judder from any source, which helps with the appearance of motion in movies. That said, it still has some stutter with low frame rate content like those 24p movies, which is annoying if this is something that you easily notice. Besides that minor hiccup, it really is an industry leader when it comes to processing, which is one of the reasons why the picture quality is so amazing. The picture quality and processing are important if you're watching movies and shows on this TV, but if you're a gamer, I bet you're wondering about the gaming performance too. Like other Sony TVs, it's excellent for gaming, but not an industry leader. To start, you get the same excellent picture quality in the TV's game picture mode as outside of it. It still has those deep blacks and bright highlights, even when playing the latest games in HDR. Motion looks excellent thanks to its fast response time, but there's some inverse ghosting in dark scenes, which looks like a white trail behind fast-moving objects. Also, the TV's backlight always flickers at 720 Hz, which is high enough that it doesn't create any image duplication, and that's great for gaming. In terms of its refresh rate, it reaches a max of 120 Hz, but it can't do anything higher like on other TVs that have come out this year, as some of those support 144 Hz or even 240 Hz like the Samsung QN95B or the TCL QM8. On the plus side, it supports HDMI 4 VRR and is G-Sync compatible to reduce screen tearing. However, it doesn't support FreeSync, so don't get this TV if you have a PC with an AMD graphics card. Besides its motion handling, it has good enough input lag for most gamers. While you don't get the same low input lag as you would on other TVs or even gaming monitors, it's still fine and you won't notice any delay. Luckily, if you want this TV for console gaming, it has no compatibility issues with the PS5 or Xbox Series X or S. It actually has a few features you can only use with a PS5, but that's what you would expect from two Sony products, right? One of these features is Auto HDR tone mapping, which optimizes the HDR picture quality based on the game. While you can use it for 1080p or 4K gaming up to 120 Hz, it doesn't support 1440p signals. This is disappointing if you want to use it with a PC, as 1440p is popular for PC gaming. Okay, now that we've talked about almost everything you need to know about this TV, let's quickly touch on its internal speakers. Like most TVs, they're nothing special, and while dialogue sounds clear at moderate listening levels, there's some distortion at max volume. It doesn't produce much bass either, which is expected, and you need to get a proper sound system if you want the best listening experience. The TV has an S-Center speaker input, so you can connect a compatible Sony soundbar and use the TV's internal speakers as the center channel. Now that we know how this TV performs, this brings us to the main question. Should you buy it? There's no question it's an excellent model that's one of the best LED TVs we've tested. I mean, our testers even use it to play Smash on their lunch breaks, so it's got their seal of approval. It combines a high contrast ratio with fantastic peak brightness to provide excellent picture quality with any content. Its processing is also a bonus, especially if you watch a lot of lower resolution content. That said, it's expensive, and considering it's only available in a massive 85-inch size in North America, this isn't the TV for you unless you want something this big and if money isn't an issue. If that's not the case, there are cheaper and smaller options you can look for. One of those is the Sony X93L, a lower-end model available in 65 and 75-inch sizes in North America. Sure, the X95L is slightly better in most areas, like with the contrast and peak brightness, but on its own, the X93L is still an excellent TV that includes all of Sony's processing power. If you aren't satisfied with the X95L's performance in gaming, consider a high-end TV like the Samsung QN90C. It has lower input lag and supports 1440p signals, which is a big plus if you want a TV for PC gaming. On top of that, the smaller sizes support a refresh rate of up to 144 Hz. However, the main trade-off here is that the picture quality is worse on the Samsung, with worse processing and more blooming and dark scenes. You have to decide between gaming performance or picture quality between those two TVs. That's all for the Sony X95L. If you want to learn more, check out our written review on the website. The link is in the description below. As always, stay tuned to this channel for more TV reviews. Bye!